The San Diego City Council approved a very low-cost lease for a new brown-supremacist museum for Chicano Park, which is becoming well known as the most anti-American park in the entire nation. $600,000 has also been allocated in next year's budget for restoration of the building. Council members turned a blind eye to the park's ultra-left political and mestizo-racial-nationalist theme. They also ignored the discrimination at the park and surrounding area against other citizens who are merely critical of the park or just don't fit in according to the park supporters' political, ethnic, and racial requirements. From the beginning, Chicano Park has always been based on lies. In the months and years to come, we will continue to chip away at this false narrative until the truth is widely known and accepted.
Thank you. Clerk, please introduce item 332.
Yes, item 332, authorization of a 20-year nonprofit lease agreement between the City of San Diego and Chicano Park Museum and Cultural Center for city-owned real property located at 1960 National Avenue and waiver of certain requirements of Council Policy 700-12. We do have quite a number of public speakers. They are all in favor. Folks, you'll have a minute apiece, so start thinking about that now as you're thinking about your comments.
And would you please introduce yourselves for the record?
So good afternoon. I'm April McCusker. I'm the program manager for the Real Estate Assets Department, and with me today is Andrew Field, who is the Assistant Director, Parks and Recreation, and of course my director, Sibel Thompson, Real Estate Assets.
And how much time would you like for your presentation?
I'd say 5 minutes.
You got it, thank you.
Okay. So today's item is a 20-year nonprofit lease agreement, which is between the City of San Diego and the Chicano Park Museum and Cultural Center. So I'd like to start today just to give you a little background of which many of you I'm sure are well aware. The Chicano Park is a 7.4-acre landmark cultural and recreational resource, which is in the heart of Barrio Logan. It's located underneath the Coronado Bridge, and as you probably are well aware, the park came about after a months-long protest in 1970 by Chicano activists when plans for this recreational area, which was supposed to be a park, were nearly set aside to make way for a highway patrol station. Due to the magnitude and the historical significance of the many murals that are in the park was designated an official historic site in 1980. Its murals were officially recognized as public art by the San Diego Public Advisory Board in 1987. And a little bit of information about all the volunteer members of the Chicano Park Steering Committee, of whom many of are here today. They secured a spot for Chicano Park on the National Register of Historic Places in 2013. The park was then designated a National Historic Landmark in 2016, at the end of 2016. And every year the community celebrates the anniversary of the park's takeover with a celebration called Chicano Park Day. And here's just a photograph of the festivities in April. So a little bit about the actual building that we are leasing out. It's at 1960 National Avenue. The building was acquired by the city from the Department of Transportation in 1972 in an exchange agreement. It has been many things since then. It was a community building. It was an educational center for the community college district for many years. And now it's been actually turned over to Park and Rec since 2015. It's been vacant. And in 2017, the Park and Rec department was able to do ADA upgrades to the building. So let me give you a little bit more information about the Chicano Park Museum and Cultural Center group. They are a nonprofit 501c3, and they're dedicated to fulfilling a mandate as a museum and a cultural center, which focuses on the exhibition, the research, and the interpretation of the art, history, and science of the Americas. Their board has experience and has credentials in assessing and implementing museums and cultural centers. In fact, for over 48 years, the all-volunteer members of this committee, in partnership with other organizations, have been offering programs and services to Chicano Park community and to surrounding areas. So this next slide is just a concept of what the Chicano Park Museum and Cultural Center will look like, standing in Chicano Park and kind of looking through to the gateway of the museum itself. So when you enter into this building, it's going to have an informational and welcoming area. It's going to have gallery and exhibition space. It's going to have training rooms, which are for education for the arts, history, and science, and also hands-on activity for the community and for visitors. We'll have conference room, meeting rooms, an archival room, and then additional space for working and collections holding. Some information about the lease itself. Again, it's a 20-year nonprofit lease. The use is for a museum, but also community center, cultural center, and office. The lessee will assume full responsibility and cost for the operation and maintenance of the premises and any capital improvements. However, if adequate funds are available, the city may construct key building systems that would benefit the city, so the roof, the plumbing, the electrical, that type of thing, in any fiscal year that the city has the money and chooses to do that. The Chicano Park Museum and Cultural Center will pay the nonprofit admin rent to the city, which is currently $3,597.50 per year, and that's subject to annual CPI adjustments. And the market value of the fee interest of this lease property was determined to be $1,580,000. So really kind of the important piece to this, I think, is the public benefits. So with city staff wants to request the city council's waiver of really strict compliance with city council policy 700-12 with respect specifically to the annual rent and to commencement of lease negotiations. So this lease was negotiated exclusively with Chicano Park Museum and Cultural Center due to their significant history of involvement with Chicano Park and its unique proposal to operate a museum and cultural center which is consistent with the character of Chicano Park as a national landmark. This regional park lacks a community building that's open to the public, so approval of this lease will be a benefit to the public as this facility will serve as a community gathering space for this unique regional park. I need just probably one more minute. Chicano Park Museum and Cultural Center has a history of strong community outreach and community service. This group will be able to continue fulfilling their mission of sharing a rich historic culture by bringing the museum adjacent to Chicano Park, expanding their program offerings, and achieving their goal, which is to enrich the lives of the community, of surrounding community, and to visitors, and the city of San Diego. The requested actions today, just to wrap up, to approve a nonprofit 20-year lease agreement with Chicano Park Museum and Cultural Center, to request the City Council's waiver of strict compliance with Council Policy 700-12, and then the two CEQA actions to declare the lease agreements categorically exempt from CEQA due to Section 15301 existing facilities, and declare the Council of the City has determined that an exception to the exemption as set forth in the CEQA guidelines does not apply. And that would do it. Do you have questions?
Thank you. We'll now take public testimony. Clerk, please proceed.
Yes, and as I noted, all of our speakers are in favor. Each speaker will have a minute, so when I call your name, please do come forward. Nobody sitting in the front row, so if you queue up there, it helps facilitate speakers. We'll start with Josephine Talamantes. She'll be followed by Francisco Martinez, followed by Janice Luna Reynoso, and Ms. Talamantes has time seated by Diane Armenta, Rigoberto Reyes, Tommy Camarillo, Annie Ross, Consuelo Manriquez, Nicholas Aguilar, Lorena Lopez, Johnny Abundas, Clara Sid, Pablo Rios, Jessica Sandoval, Angie Avila, Veronica Enrique, T.E. Cabareo, Fernando Lucera, David Avalos, Jerry Rivero, Lena Aguirre, and Irma Patricia Aguayo for a total, you can have a maximum of 15 minutes, so I'll put that on the clock for you.
Yeah, I don't think I'll need that much time, but thank you. City Council, Mayor, and all the people that are here in support of the Chicano Park Museum and Cultural Center. As you know by the presentation, it was pretty extensive, so I won't reiterate. And I've been talking with each of you for the last couple of months and in the last year, and I've given you all reports and plans and facility use and everything that we've created for the museum, so I'm not going to spend a lot of time going over that. But I would like you to remember that Chicano Park Museum and Cultural Center, a nonprofit 501c3, is focused on exhibition, research, interpretation, collection of contemporary and traditional art, and to provide educational seminars, workshops focusing on art, history, and science, as well as serving as a visitor/information center for San Diego's most recent national landmark, Chicano Park. We have been documenting historical narratives of the region and sharing our sacred homeland stories, creating value to our community and visitors from far and near. We will be investing in creative placemaking, inspiring vibrancy and community involvement. We will work on bringing in needed funding to support programming, serving community, providing educational lifelong services to the community. As there is no high school in the Barrio Logan, Logan Heights area, we will provide an added value to the community's youth. We will provide space for art and artists, promoting local talent and building connections to regional, national, and international art and art making and art movements. We will integrate science, technology, engineering, arts, and mathematics into our programming, training the next generation in social justice, science, and technology, and facilitating communication with other regional, national, and international organizations, building collaborative relationships for a strong regional community. We will continue to our educational series, fostering passion for and appreciation of Chicano Park and the Chicano Park monumental murals in the city, county, state, nation, and for international communities, but specifically for our bi-national region of this area. Public programming and hands-on activities, workshops, art, history, science classes that utilize a curriculum that has the potential to produce products that reflect our local community. We are all here to urge you, each of you, to vote to support this magnificent endeavor that our community has been working on for a long time. We know that anything can occur today with regard to our request and do not take anything for granted. The community of Logan Heights / Barrio Logan has been the driving economic workforce for the city of San Diego for over 100 years and has paid the price of discrimination, marginalization, and isolation through segregation practices for the majority of that time. Chicano Park became the tipping point in our relationship with the powers that be, and now close to 50 years later, we are prepared to tell our story and the wonderful contributions our community and community members have added to the well-being of the city, state, and nation. As Maria Garcia, local historian, author of La Neighbor, who could not be here today, so eloquently put it last week at the Smart Growth and Land Use Committee, we have many members of our community that have gained high profiles. One example is Armando Rodriguez, local educator principal that served the Department of Education for the state of California and also served under 6 different U.S. presidents, as well as local dock workers, longshoremen that invented new methods of unloading cargo from the boats that is still currently in use today at the Port of San Diego and is being replicated in other port cities as well as the ingeniousness of lowriders that use their smarts to invest in their pristine automobiles and bicycles to showcase models of traditional art forms. Our danzantes that live, breathe, and demonstrate culture and the arts, educating and training our next generation in the pride of our historical indigenous roots, and our elders that still use the traditional herbs and medicines to heal our community and to tell our stories and cultural practices of the diverse traditional roots of our community. I'd like to thank all the people that are in the room today in support of this effort. I would like to thank each of you for your potential vote. I would like to thank Real Estate Assets, as I've been working with Sibel for at least 3 years, and April recently, and recently with and Stacy Lemedico and the other staff of the City of San Diego that have listened to me for this long. And I thank you for your time, and I urge you to support our efforts to make San Diego a better place by validating its diversity and culture by supporting the Chicano Park Museum and Cultural Center. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And a specific thank you to David, who's been there supporting us all along, and Georgette, and each of the other members of the council that have supported us. Thank you both. Thank you all.
Thank you. We'll go now to speakers who have a minute apiece, so please come forward when I call your name. Francisco Martinez, followed by Janice Luna Reynoso, followed by Jean Michelle Marquez, followed by Zenona Reynoso. Go ahead, sir. You'll have a minute.
I'm sorry, before you start, you know our policy. Thank you. Do the hand wave, not the clapping, so that we can hear each and every public speaker. Thank you so much. Please.
Please don't applaud for me. The handshaking will do. I swear I have more than one shirt. I just wear this for marketing purposes. But thank you all for listening to our testament. And with the Barrio Logan College Institute, we help students access higher education to affect positive change in their community. I grew up in Barrio Logan. I went to school there for 10 years, but I never had an official tour of Chicano Park. And Chicano Park has a lot of rich history for the Chicano community. I spent a lot of years trying to figure out who I was, and being Chicano is part of that. If Chicano Park had a museum when I was a kid, my journey of self-discovery would have started a lot sooner, and I would have been more advanced than where I am now. So I hope that with the museum passing, that more youth in Barrio Logan can have this opportunity. And Barrio Logan College Institute, as well as the youth of Barrio Logan, support this museum. Thank you.
Thank you. Janice Luna Reynoso is our next speaker, followed by Jen Michelle Marquez, who should be in the front row, followed by Zenona Reynoso, also in the front rows, followed by Cinia Luna in the front row, and Cuauhtémoc. Go ahead, ma'am. You'll have a
Jen
minute.
Michelle Marquez is ceding her time to me. Good afternoon, Council. My name is Janice Luna Reynoso, born and raised in San Diego. I am Executive Director of Mundo Gardens, a community garden organization in National City. We're also a nonprofit. I also facilitate leadership programs with youth throughout San Diego, refugee and immigrant youth, and also the youth of Barrio Logan College Institute. Chicano Park, its history, its leaders, its active artists in the community have impacted my work greatly. They've inspired me, and they've also worked and educated the youth that we work with in the community. And as we know, these youth are our future. I have seen the Barrio Logan community triumph and create great work and accomplishments with limited resources and people power. This opportunity will allow them to expand, to be able to share this vision and continue their legacy. And this is for all people, crediting the city of San Diego as arts and culture innovators. The Chicano Park Museum and Cultural Center will shine as a beacon of beauty, of leadership, and quality of life for all of our community members. As we know, and studies have shown, that when quality of life is improved in our most underserved and our most vulnerable communities, it also improves the quality of life for our most affluent communities. That would directly impact everyone here in San Diego County. This is a model that will shine and will continue to shine as the model that Chicano Park has provided to not only the city, the county, our state, our country, but worldwide. We encourage this museum wholeheartedly. We are here to dedicate our support as an individual and as our organization, Mundo Gardens, to support the efforts of this museum and also our commitment to help sustain the programming and help it succeed to continue this legacy that has impacted so many people. Thank you.
Thank you. So you had an extra minute from Jen Michelle Marquez. Next is Zenona Reynoso. You'll be followed by Cinia Luna, followed by Cuauhtémoc, followed by Jesse Constancio. You'll have a minute, ma'am.
Greetings. I could not imagine my life without the warmth and cultural influence of Chicano Park and its legacy. When I'm in the space, I feel my mom, I see my nana, I see their beauty and their struggles. I'm able to connect with my cultural identity. When individuals are not connected to their ancestors, their culture, land, and history, they often find themselves troubled and in trouble. If you all have ever been in the predicament of not knowing oneself, it is very difficult to navigate through life, feeling that disconnection, feeling lost, not knowing your history, not knowing your past. I hope you all understand the gravity of this positive step. It would be for all of San Diego. This would help the youth discover themselves and discover their potential, and that it is without any limits. Thank you.
Thank you. Our next speaker is Cinia Luna, followed by Cuauhtémoc, followed by Jesse Constancio, followed by Sal Barajas.
Hello, my name is Samia Luna, and I am in favor of Chicano Park having a museum and cultural center. I speak for myself and many of my youth peers when I say how inspiring Chicano Park is and how it brings the barrio together in amazing ways. It's comforting knowing that there's a whole community behind Chicano Park that assures our safety and cultural representation of our people. It's very important that other youth like myself and younger and other future generations have the opportunity of learning the history of our community, as well as other neighboring communities. A cultural center is necessary to our survival as upcoming leaders in this world, a safe space where we can grow, unite, and cultivate a better future of artists and leaders. Thank you.
Thank you. Cuauhtémoc is our next speaker. He'll have a minute, followed by Jesse Constancio, Sal Barajas, Giovanna Cerda. Go ahead, sir. You'll have a minute.
Afternoon, council members. I am a brother, a provider, and a young Chicano. And just like the many stories, actually, the young Chicano and the Chicanas as well, I didn't know myself. I'm not a native here to San Diego, but when I came here, I heard about Chicano Park, and I reminded myself, I've heard of that word Chicano, right? And I went ahead, went to Chicano Park. I had to look at all the murals because they were so beautiful. And the kiosko in the middle as well sort of inspired me. I had seen also a mural, Cuauhtémoc, my name, painted right by Hasta la Bahia. This museum is going to mean a lot. It's going to benefit and enrich the communities around there. One of the other things as well is that these children who grow up, they might not have an identity to know, or if not that, they'll have more to know when that museum is going ahead and presented and built. I would urge you, and I hope you consider to vote yes to the authorization of the lease. Thank you.
Thank you. Jesse Constancio is our next speaker. Is Jesse? He'll have 1 minute, followed by Sal Barajas, followed by Giovanna Cerda.
Good afternoon. Thank you for listening to all our speakers. This is a very serious matter. It's something that is extremely needed in our community. For a long, long time, we've been waiting for something like this. If it doesn't get approved, I think it's going to continue this neglect to this community that has been neglected for a long, long time. So I hope you take that into consideration. It's very, very serious matter, and it has to be approved. Thank you.
Thank you. Sal Barajas. Sal present? That's him. Okay, sorry. Thank you. Thank you. Giovanna Cerda, did you wish to speak? I couldn't tell if your box for no need to speak was checked off. If not, we also have other folks in favor who did not wish to speak. Fabio Rojas, Andrew Norbel, Manuel Andrade, Margarita McFadden, and Joe Labre, and that concludes our public speakers on this item. Did you want to speak, sir? Just state your name for the record and you can have a minute.
Fabio Rojas. I arrived about 7 years ago on the Chicano Park. It was an incredible point for me to learn the culture and the place here and where I was, and pay respect to it. And if we were to have now I can say we. I feel like I belong here now. And if we could have a museum, this wonderful construction where people will see the history, I think it will add certainly to the experience, and it will be really great. People will be able to identify themselves faster and just merge with the culture. Thank you.
Thank you. That concludes the public testimony on this item.
Thank you. Turning to council member questions and comments. Council member Alvarez.
Well, good afternoon. And there's a lot of people in the audience who chose not to speak. But you're here, and if you're here in support, can you just raise your hand, please, so that we can identify you? Thank you very much. And Josie, a great organizer, thanks for organizing on behalf of the community that is here so that we could get the perspective that you presented to us today. I want to start off by saying thank you to all of you for taking time from your life to be here. The young people, I don't know about the folks who been around a little longer than I have in Chicano Park, although I've been there my whole life now, 38 years. But I think if you just listen to what they shared with us today, you could already say that what you've done, what you contributed to our community, to our future, was right there in front of us today, which is it was beautiful and amazing to hear the young people who spoke so eloquently about themselves, about the history, about the culture, about what Chicano Park has meant to them. So first of all, to all of you who've been around again from the beginning, thank you, because it was that vision more than 40 years ago to do this, to have a space to create what is now Chicano Park, that has allowed them and some of us to be where we are today. And it's a debt of gratitude we have for you. That goes for all of you. And I can't name all of you, but I see you there. You're pretty significant individuals. I hope you know that. This is the park where I grew up in. During the Chicano Park Day celebrations when I was young, my parents had a food stand every single year. My mom, who was a great cook. Of course, we all say that about our moms, right? But she was pretty good. We did quite well with the rolled tacos and the horchatas. Now it's all been perfected, but it was all homemade at the time. And so I have amazing memories as a child growing up there. This is now my park. It's the closest park to where I live. It's where I take my kids to the playground. I've been proud that over the course of the last 7 years that I've been here, we've done some major improvements to the park for children so they can access the park with our new playground. The bathroom, which Sal, you heard him speak, he was the artist for the new bathrooms, which took a little longer than we all wished, but it was nice to have. It's nice to have good bathrooms that are working, functioning, with new artwork there. All those things are really good for the community, but there was always something missing. And this was the piece that was missing. And Josie, I can't thank you enough for your struggle to get to where we are. And I know it's been a struggle, but you never gave up. You believed in this. And I think today the council will reward you with believing in you and in all of you for doing this. Your passion throughout the last several years for the dedication of the national monuments, the landmark designation, and now this really speaks to your love for the community. Your legacy will be there for a long, long time. Thank you, Josie, for everything. To the staff, I want to thank you for your patience over the course of the last couple of years, for working with the community on this. This was definitely a community-centered, focused approach. I thank all of you for that. And for my colleagues, what I'll say is I thank you this year for voting in our budget to set aside some significant funding to help make sure this facility gets up and running soon. Last year, additionally, so now a tune of about $600,000 that have been set aside to go into this building to help get it up and running as soon as possible. I want to thank you for saying yes to the community this time, because this community has heard no a lot more than it's heard yes over the course of the years. And it's been the struggles of the community. It's been Chicano Park is what it is today because of the community. And I said this at the committee, that the Museum and Cultural Center will be successful because of the community. And this time, I think, as a result of the votes that we'll take today, the votes we've taken before on setting aside funding, you're going to have a partner in the city and in government that says, yeah, this is the right thing to do. Not only is it the right thing to do, it is with great pleasure that I can honestly leave in a couple months knowing that I've made a real difference in this community. But it wouldn't have happened without any of you that are here. So I honor you for that. I thank you. You should be proud of yourself This is a very different day in the city than it was over 40 years ago. The relationship has changed, and it's because of the work that you've done and the organizing. Should be proud. I'm proud. And with that, I will move the staff recommendation so that the now Chicano Park building, I think that's what it's technically called now for the city, gets leased over to the Chicano Park Museum and Cultural Center organization. And thank you again very much.
Thank you, Councilmember Alvarez. Councilmember Gomez.
Yes, thank you. And first, want to start with thanking the community for coming out. I was listening to my colleague, Mr. Alvarez, and I was just thinking, this is a long time coming. And it's exciting to be here, and it's exciting to say that I'm happy to make the second on this motion. But it's also just a reflection of that we should have done this a long time ago, and it's really unfortunate. But we are here, and it is good to celebrate. But hopefully, we don't continue to do these types, to treat certain communities differently. We need to really stop that. South, communities like Logan Heights, Barrio Logan, and many other communities that I can think of, part of my district, part of President Cole's district. I think we can do better. And this is, I think I said this during the budget, that we have an opportunity to create a different narrative for San Diego. And this is one of those where this is a long time coming for the community. The park that we all now love and claim, even the city of San Diego, is because the community created it. And hopefully we are creating a different government that is responding to the people, because that's the way that it should be. So I'll leave it at that. But thank you once again. And Josie, thank you for everything that you have done, that you will continue to do, and for being persistent. It's really important that we have people like yourself. And I know I'm looking out there, and I know that there's a lot of people that are pretty persistent in the audience. So bear with us. We are changing. We're going to continue to change to have a government that is more reflective of all of us. And as a proud Chicana, this is a good day for San Diego. So thank you so much.
That sounds like a second. Yes. Thank you, Councilmember Gomez. Councilmember Sherman.
Yeah, thank you, and thank you all for being here today. I remember seeing you here a couple weeks ago in committee, and the turnout is even more impressive today, so congratulations. Josie, who would have thought when we met a couple of years ago talking about this idea that we'd be where we are today. I'm very happy to support what's going forward, and you were telling the stories of the barrio and what's been going on, and the story of the people there, and it reminds me of my wife's father, who immigrated here from Sonora. He worked at NASCO, was able to raise a family, buy his first house, and educate his children, all because of what was present in the barrio and available to him there. And it's just part of that whole story of people coming to San Diego and what they're able to accomplish because of areas like the barrio and the economic opportunity that the city provides. And it's a testament to your perseverance. And part of me says this is the final step in the journey, but it's the first step in a different journey, and you're well on your way. And if you show the persistence and perseverance you showed on your way to this one, I think the museum's in very good hands. So I have a feeling where the vote's going, so I'll just say congratulations now.
Thank you. So we have a motion by Councilmember Alvarez that was seconded by Councilmember Gomez. Please vote. Clerk, please call the roll.
And that passes unanimously with Councilmember Ward and Councilmember Kate absent.
Thank you, and thank you for the presentation.